Hello, everybody. I'm Paul Ryden. Do you believe in fate? Well, our guest today certainly does, only the fate he's written about is an acronym for something a little different. Miguel de la Rocha has written a most unusual autobiography that starts at birth and death at the same time. Told you it was unusual. The book is called F.A.T.E, My Future After Traumatic Events. Miguel, welcome to the Global
Well,
Book Network. Glad to have you with us.
it's an honor to be here, and thank you. It's a great privilege to see you.
Sure. Now, you've said that you experienced death at the same time you were born. Walk us through that. That's a little unusual.
Sure. Well, first, this was back in '71. Sharing my age a bit.
I
So,
graduated high school in 71, so that's okay. Go right ahead.
I was actually born 3 weeks late. My poor mother on that. But when I was born, I was actually born with a cord wrapped around my neck 3 times. My head was completely blue. I wasn't breathing, wasn't responding, and after a while, they were able to bring me back. So yeah.
Wow.
So from the very first moment of life, I've battled the angel of death.
Yeah, you talk about battling the angel of death in your book. How do you, what do you mean by that exactly?
Well, I see it as literally a battle between the entity and facing death multiple times and overcoming death, being brought back to life. Like one example would be when I was surfing in California in San Diego, where I'm from. They had a couple hurricanes off the coast, and we were having beautiful up in Oceanside. We were having beautiful 15, 20-foot swells. So, like an idiot, I go out there with a surfboard.
You're not the only idiot who's
And
done
then
that,
ends
I'm
up
sure.
the cur right. And so the waves ended up crashing on my board, snapped my leash, sucked me under, and it got to the point where um, you the storm that was raging on the surface got totally quiet. A wonderful warm feeling just totally came over my body. And all of a sudden, it was really weird because I didn't even have the need to breathe underwater. And if that wasn't bad enough, then I started seeing that bright light that starts out little and it keeps
Mhm.
growing and growing, and growing. And I was like, oh, hell no, I know what this is. So I snapped out of it. And I don't know what kind of death or whatever experience that was, but I was able to snap out of it, climb to the surface, and ended up having to climb up the jetty to safety. Of course, I was bleeding all over from the rocks of the jetty. And then some little punk kid goes up, dude, that was cool. Can you do that again? I'm like, man, I
No.
really want to punch that kid.
Well, some people talk about that bright light and going toward it and being attracted to it, not
Yeah.
like in your case saying, get me out of here, but it's like I'm drawn to it because there's something comforting about it.
Yeah, there was. It was totally peaceful, totally calm, totally soothing. And again, I wasn't even breathing underwater. It was just there was no need to breathe. And as I was going towards the line, actually the light was coming towards me. Yeah, it was a battle, but my mind automatically went, well, I've heard about this many times. I'm
Yeah.
like, and I know what this is. I'm like, no, it's not time yet. So, I got out of it. And, yeah,
Well,
made it to safety.
most people face death, once in their life, and that's usually at the end of their life. You were faced death multiple times. Is there one particular brush with the Grim Reaper that stands as a real turning point in your life?
Oh boy, it's been so many times. I've had cancer 3 times. First time at 15, so overcame that, battled death with that, and then probably the most interesting one is the 5 assassination attempts on my life by the Philippine cartel.
What?
So, yeah,
How?
with
What's that all about?
I just got through the divorce, and I was vid chat dating with a Filipina on Facebook, and then ended up after a year that I decided to go and visit her, and decided to get married and everything else and move out there so she could stay with her family and everything and not be ripped from them. And after getting married, within about 6 months, I realized that her family was cartel.
Wait a minute.
So
It took you that long to realize that?
yeah, yeah. unfortunately, but
She probably didn't
so,
put that in her bio online, did she?
no. And it was like after we did the civil ceremony, like she did a full 180. So her whole personality and everything else really came out. And because there's no divorce in the Philippines. So it was just crazy. So she knew she got locked in. And I ended up fleeing for my life after she told me multiple times that she was going to cut off my huevos and, slit my throat in my sleep. So if I
Yeah.
ever left her. So yeah. But yeah, it's just multiple times. They tried to knock me off my motorcycle. They tried to run me over. Yeah, just various stuff like that that I was able to outmaneuver and escape from my military training. So,
Well, and speaking of your military training, you're also a combat veteran. What experiences there um, helped you with this whole idea of trauma and resilience?
well, honestly, a lot of it happened to do with learning it on my own. Um, Basically, the traumas I went through is like lifelong traumas, obviously, and not just specifically in the military, but it's still, at 19 years old, going into combat, in the first Iraq War was brutal, and the experience, you know, thank goodness for the training that we had because it really taught you, when you've got multiple drill sergeants, screaming up and down in your face, confusing you and stuff like that, trying to get you to do what they want you to do, they actually teach you how to tune out all the chaos going on around you so that you could focus on what you're supposed to be doing and listen to the orders that are coming down from your NCOs to do what needs to be done. And that's exactly what happened because when we landed in Saudi Arabia during the first Gulf War, we landed hot. They had missiles up after our plane. The airport was completely blacked out. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and we were under a missile attack. So, it was total chaos. But during that chaos, it was exactly the training kicked in as we received in basic training to listen to our NCOs and follow the orders and tune out everything else that was going on. And everything worked out perfect.
Hmm. I would think that all the experiences you've had, you're either thinking to yourself, okay, this is the time I get it. This is the time I get it. Or you're thinking, well, I got through this once. If I got through it once, I can get through it again.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my mindset is like, this is not the time. It's like I've been through so much already. Clearly, there's something I'm supposed to achieve in life, something I'm supposed to do. And I just relied heavily on that and, worked through everything. And it was, I really think the VA, even though the VA didn't work for me and APA and psychologists like psychiatrists didn't work for me. I'm thankful that it didn't work because it actually taught me how to figure things out myself. And it made me much stronger. And I was able to map out how to overcome my triggers and how to overcome my traumatic events and PTS. And that's actually one of the reasons why I wrote my autobiography, Fate, My Future After Traumatic Events.
Mhm.
So that's where that goes. And of course, I've won multiple awards for it, including the 2024 International Book Award for the impact that it's had on people around the world, which
Hmm.
is very humbling and very encouraging.
When
And
did
I'm
you?
actually, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. You're actually,
Yeah. And I'm up for two Author of the Year awards.
well, congratulations.
Thanks.
That's excellent. When did you decide, you had all this stuff, you said, I've got to get this down into a book. And how did you do that? Did you
So
just
it
sit down and
happened.
write it all in one fell swoop, or how'd you do that?
So, as you may know or may not know, that there are about 18 million veterans in the US, and up to 20% of us veterans have experienced some kind of traumatic event that we may be struggling with. And I was one of those that, almost became one of the 24 a day that ends it all. And so every hour of every single day, a veteran commits suicide.
Good grief.
And on the 4th of July in 2014, I almost became one of those. But having survived and overcoming that night, it was, in San Diego. And the next morning was a perfect, beautiful summer San Diego day.
Mm.
And I was inspired and said, now that I've been through this, I had a hope, I had a mission, and I had a destiny to fulfill. And that's when it started that I need to share my story of everything that I've been through and how I've been able to overcome everything. And that's why it took me 9 years to write it and another year in publication.
When you were writing it, was it difficult to relive those traumatic events?
Absolutely, because most people that want to be authors and want to write their story don't understand that when you're doing that, especially on the severity of the trauma that you've gone through, that you're sharing, you relive it every time you write it.
Sure.
So when I was doing that, there was a very specific event where I was still triggered so much that I could only write maybe a sentence or a few words at a time,
Mm.
and then I'd have to walk away from it for weeks or even a couple months.
Mm.
And just working through it, and then coming back, writing another couple sentences, maybe writing a chapter, and then the triggers would be too much, and then I just had to set it aside.
I'm guessing that most of your readers have not faced as many traumatic events as you have, but what do you hope they get out of this book?
The theme of the book is semper anticus. It's a army infantry motto that means always forward. So
Mm.
no matter what kind of crap is going on in your life, no matter what kind of storm you're facing or what's pounding you in life, that you always continue going forward. Semper anticus, always move forward, even if it's inch by inch. Just make it to the next day, because the next day, is a new day, new opportunities, and new dreams that you can fulfill, and a new progress that you can make.
How has sharing your story helped in your own healing process?
Well, and that was one of the weird things that I learned, is that by helping others and sharing, I mean, literally, I buried my soul and opened up my heart, everything else, poured everything into it. That actually was very therapeutic.
Hmm.
And when you're focusing on helping others, and when you're focusing on guiding others with their struggles from your experiences, it really heals yourself as well.
Well, the story is a compelling one, that's for sure. Miguel de la Rocha is the author, and the book is entitled Fate: My Future After Traumatic Events. And it's available on Amazon, available anywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. It's through Chihuahua, Ingram, distribution network. So
Wow,
it's everywhere. Barnes and Noble, Books a
great.
Million, Walmart, everywhere.
Well, congratulations on the awards and good luck moving forward. And hope you don't have any more traumatic events that you're going to just, stay
I
safe.
appreciate
Hey, thanks for
that.
joining us, Miguel. I really appreciate it. And thank you, folks, for spending a few minutes with us on the Global Book Network. I'm Paul Ryden. We'll see you next time.